I've always suspected that a virtually universal feature of today's sewing machines was put there just to trip up the occasional guy that had the audacity to say that he could run one of these machines. Why else would they make the speed control look so much like a gas pedal? Granted, the trouble you get in with this pedal is a lot different than the other one, where you can get in conflict with trees and posts and stuff. We don't need to be going so fast with either one. My dad used to say, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. And boy, if that ain't true on sewing machines also. When I try going really fast on a sewing machine, I generally wind up going a lot slower with a seam ripper. And there's that behinder thing again. Here I'm going to try and lay some stitches down quickly along this curve. It's a curve to the left, which is a lot easier for me to follow, but that doesn't help much. I know there's a lot of people in the factory settings that can lay down perfect stitches at blinding speeds, but they're not us. I'm certainly not them anyway. This line of stitches will hold the pieces of fabric together, but it's not going to look very good. Since we can't hide all of our stitching, we want to make this look as good as we can. And a properly placed line of stitches will make the project a little more durable. Now I'll try this again at a more moderate speed. This curve is a little tighter and it should make it a little harder to do. This line of stitches certainly isn't perfect. But by going a little slower, the stitches wind up closer to where they're supposed to be, and I get a little more practice at doing it right. Not learning to do it wrong is almost as important as learning to do it right. For me, this is good freehand spacing, but more importantly is I'm getting better every time I do this. And using a speed more appropriate for your skills is just as important on a serger. Every time you slow down and get a line of stitches right, you saved a bunch of time over what it would have taken you with a seam ripper to take it apart and do it again. I've also learned to slow down even when doing a straight stitch. This line of stitches finishes a zipper installation and will be visible from the outside. I frequently make wing bags with 7 and 8 foot long zippers, and it looks a lot nicer when everything is nice and straight. Another way to help accuracy is to shorten up the stitch length. Between reduced speeds and a shorter stitch, it's easier to keep a stitch line where you want it. That includes going around corners or just following an edge. Whatever we're doing, putting the stitches where they're supposed to be is only going to make the project better. Of course, it is your machine and your project, so you can gas it if you want to and just hang on. And when you put a bunch of stitches where they ain't supposed to was, remember where you put your seam ripper.